Alright. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a highlight cast, one of the best matches in the last week of StarCraft. We have the grand finals from the ESL EU Open. In the bottom left, our world champion, it's Clash's REYNOR. Representing Red Bull and Clash Esports, REYNOR is an absolute monster. And I'm very curious because I was breaking down how he got ahead every single time he played in that World Championship a month and a half ago, and how he looked fantastic. He looked great. But I said the one guy I want to see him tested against is this guy up here in the top right. It is none other than Liquid's Clem. Oh my god, that's adorable. It's like a polar doggo almost. Because that's not actually just a polar bear, right? It looks too cute. Do polar bears actually look that cute? I feel like it is a dog edited onto it. Kind of like in Legend of Korra. She has that cool polar dog thing. Maybe it is just a polar bear. It just has a silly expression on its face. Either way, I am keen. So the reason is we saw REYNOR get really good at doing like a 10 queen style, 9-10 queens every game, splitting his queens on 2 different control groups and spreading creep like disgustingly fast. And I was kind of saying, look, a lot of the Terrans were just going really fast third CC, putting on only light Hellion pressure. They weren't finding enough damage with Banshees or Liberators. Their Hellions were not denying enough creep. Even when they'd get a few tombs, he'd just replace them. So I was like, look, I want to see people building Hellions nonstop. I want to see Clem throwing all sorts of various really tight aggressive attacks. Because in the past, REYNOR has had a lot more back and forth with Clem over the last year. Where actually, I think Clem might even have the advantage in their recent head-to-head. They've gone back and forth. It's always very, very close when they fight. So I think it's really exciting because Clem's a player who, you know, he wants to grab momentum and run away with the game. REYNOR's the kind of guy who wants to, I mean, he wants to just cover the map in creep. He wants to, you know, oh, what's that? I'm on 90 drones. Like, REYNOR is very greedy at times, and he's got like little Ling backstabs he'll use to buy himself just a moment of time, and he'll squeeze another 10 drones out, and then he'll just do that 100 drone overwhelming lurker Ling Bane style, which he really revolutionized and has become a standard part of Zerg vs Terran. You've got to give props to REYNOR for what he has done to the meta in Zerg vs Terran, because he created lurkers as a style. He was doing them in Zerg vs Zerg. He was doing Ling lurker in ZVZ for a little while, remember, and insisting that it was like a legitimate thing, and everyone was like, that's not a thing, REYNOR. Like, get out of here. This is so dumb. And he's like, it's really good, guys. You can surround them and the lurkers burrow on their units. And I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen, REYNOR. Like, it's so much better to just go upgraded Zerglings into muters. Like, going upgraded Lings into lurkers against like Zerg is such a gamble, man. Which he did end up moving away from it after a while. Of course, I believe it was actually Risky who said he'd originally done it, and he was a little sad. He's like, what? And the people give REYNOR credit? I came up with this style. I'm like, this style is trash. Nobody should be trying to claim credit for this style. Great against Terran, not so good against Zerg, in my opinion. But to each his own. So already that creep getting out there. The Reaper for Clem rotating around. Now, I said I wanted to see faster Hellion aggression. We're not really seeing it, guys. First 2 Hellions, look at this. First 2 just popping out now at 330. That's not particularly quick Hellion aggression. This is the very fast third command center play into Hellion Banshee. So light Hellion pressure so far. REYNOR does have a third hatchery beyond halfway done. Ling speed is 3/4 of the way done. Those 3 queens moving forward. Let's keep an eye on REYNOR's control groups. Right now, he's still only on 4 queens. It's still early days, right? Starting up 5th and 6th now. So he hasn't split his queens just yet. Any damage he gets on the Hellions like that is very powerful. So Clem wants to pick off tumors, wants to, you know, damage them and slow down the creep spread, but he does not want to lose any hit points. And it's hard for him because notice that REYNOR has these 3 overlords. He's got that one on the right, and he's got one out the middle and one out the left. So he's seeing where the Hellions and the Reapers are beforehand, and his queens are able to move to respond. REYNOR also does a slow overlord sacrifice through the main, sees the third command center, sees, oh, it's not Banshee, it's actually going to be Raven this time. Fascinating. So it's going to be Raven used to help clear up this creep spread. So Clem not as worried about the early creep getting out because he's not going to have to use scans to clear it. So this is actually a cool way of dealing with REYNOR. REYNOR did not face, I don't think he faced a single Raven play at Katowice. And that's one of the things I did not actually consider. How will that go here? Spore Crawler in the back of the third. Spore Crawler in the back of the main. Very late spores. Guys, he doesn't have a lair, and he's only started spores at 4:44, 4:45. That's very late. Now, if there was a super quick Banshee, he might actually lose a bunch of drones to it. But I like it. I prefer this because he's gone so mineral heavy. He's already up on 3 mineral lines. He's going up to 9. 10th queen starts up. Double Evo, finishing just after 5 minutes. This is going to be a super macro play from Reynor. He's going to get in a powerful position. Engineering bays are just finishing now. Can Clem get his upgrades started before Reynor? Reynor's decided to put his first 100 gas into the lair, but oh, the auto turret is such a tanky boy and does a lot of damage. One of the queens does fall there, but more queens are on the way. 1-1 does start for Reynor. Just 2 seconds before Clem. Clem's still picking off bits of creep. You got to be careful. You do not want to lose that Raven. You lose that Raven, you're in big trouble. He kills one of his own creep tumors as it was blocking his 4th base from going down. Reynor is up on 2 gases, going up to 3 right now. The Hellions run in, and oh, the Queen's out of position. Oh my god, Clem just killed so many Zerglings. Great Evo chamber to block, though. Stops the Hellions from diving in there. That could have been a lot worse, but so far, Clem's micro, 1 Hellion for 2 drones, 14 Zerglings, 7 creep tumors, an Overlord, and a Queen. I mean, this is spectacular play. He's invested in a solid 12 Hellions, so this is not cheap. This is a big mineral investment for Clem. It's slowed down a lot of his barracks transition, his bio transition, but it's well worth it. He's getting the queens. His Raven just flew home, though. I guess it was very weak, and he didn't want to risk losing it. Yeah, he's gone back to repair, but he did miss out on clearing this creep, so this whole left side, a bit of a bummer there. Ends up using a scan. Single SCV repairing, of course. Doesn't want to waste too much mining time. So he's going to do it that way, and he's got 12 Marines, going to double drop down at the left side of the map. So Hellions can still be a little annoying on the right. My god, look at this creep spread, even with it being delayed in so many areas. It's just spreading like wildfire. Honestly, I mean, Reynor is just really gross at that. 3 queens on the left, 3 queens on the right. You can see he split his groups up to deal with this, but those Marines are going to be a problem. He's got 28 Zerglings, 12 more on the way. So 40 Zerglings should be enough to deal with 12 Marines very easily, and indeed they will. But they can, of course, pick up and go into the main. The Hellions getting pushed back on the right by those queens. 1-1, and Bane speed now starting up as well. I like the Spore Crawler moving forward. Just limits the mobility of what Clem can do there. The lair is up. 4th and 5th gases are mining now. But Clem going to start to rally down the right side. Widow Mine's coming out 2 at a time now. He's already getting that parade going. 2nd factory building immediately onto a tech lab. Does not have a 4th command center started, but going right up into the heavy Widow Mines. The Hellion's going to run forward and get one of these queens. Scan. He's got to drop a scan here. Well, that's so much creep, man. Where is the Raven, by the way? Oh, no, he's forgotten his Raven. He sent it home to get repaired, and he's dealing with so much stuff. Clem actually forgot to bring that along. Does save those Marines on the left side. The Hellbats, it look like they've taken a bit of damage. Those 4 Banelings need to find the center of those Hellbats and get rid of them. The Wall of Queens doing very well. Ooh, the Marines. Okay. And that Widow Mine does get taken out. Nice focus fire. You can see Reynor actually let the Banelings blow up on the Widow Mine, making sure they didn't get the shot off. Nicely done here. Drop on the left side, goes back in. Only 6 Marines get out of there. I mean, Reynor's managed to hold off right now. He starts +2 carapace. He starts an infestation. Unfortunately, not starting +2 melee right now, but there's a lot going on. He's going to start building more Spore Crawlers. He's already got a few here. But you see his queen count did actually go down a little bit in that he lost 5 queens, but he keeps replacing them. So he's still got 9 out on the map. His creep's being pushed back pretty far on the right side. Lots more Widow Mines coming in. The Raven joining up with this as well. Now remember, it is 1-1 upgrades on both sides. The Widow Mine's just going to burrow right on top of everything. Nice focus with the Banelings though. Reynor punishes that, takes that out. The drop goes into the main. The medevac goes down, but those 3 Marines in the main do kill 6 drones before getting cleaned up. They've just been cleaned up by Zerglings off camera in that bottom left of the main. These Marines doing big damage. There's not a lot of Banelings. There's not a lot of Zerglings here. Reynor needs to get those Zerglings back down here from the front. His Banelings not quite able to hit the center of those Marines. It was so close. He got 1 hit on about 5 or 6 Marines. Oh, okay. Does get a few hits. Finally cleans that up. We see those Marine corpses float up to the top here of 2,000 Atmos. And one of my favorite maps right now. But yeah, it's getting really hard for Reynor in terms of territory. He barely hangs on there. Problem for him, 4th base going out, and more importantly than that, armor on the way for medevacs and mines. 2-2 on the way there for Terran in line with the Zerg upgrades. He's got 3 Widow Mines building at a time right now. He's got drilling claws, so his Widow Mines are going to be able to, like, basically mid-combat burrow. Oh, great hit with that Widow Mine. And he's got the multi-prong going. So Reynor is in this position. He doesn't have the numbers to actually push this back. And look at that. You see the way the Widow Mines are just burrowing mid-combat. Doesn't get any big hits in that one. Does force Clem to pick up. He's got Zerglings over there stopping the drop as well, but there's still a Raven here. Now, Clem keeps trying to drop in, but Reynor has well-positioned spores. When you're playing just a Queenling Bane up into Ultra style or up into Lurkers, very important for you to get those extra spore crawlers. And we can see it on the structures tab. There are 5 spores. 1, 2, 3, zoning out the main base, and then the bottom right, 1 spore there. So very important that he's focused on putting those spores to zone out the edges. Anti-armor missile goes down. That's going to give those Marines a lot of power, but there's not that many Marines. A good bit of focus fire, though. Even just the 8 Marines on the front focused those Banelings down so quickly. For those who don't know, the anti-armor missile knocks 3 armor and even into the negative on the enemy units, which means they take +3 damage from each Marine shot. Marines only do a base damage of 6. They shoot very fast, which means that against those anti-armor missiles, I mean, they just do a massive damage. It's basically a 50% damage boost to the Marine. It's like having an extra +3 upgrade on top of their current +2 attack. It's like using +5 Marines, and with that spread, I mean, yeah, the Widow Mines are gone. There's 5 Banelings, but his Queens are gone. He's lost most of his anti-air. The Medivacs healing is insane. Clem, oh, I think there's still 1 Baneling in there, maybe? Oh, he gets it. He gets it. He pulls back. He managed to focus fire even under the Medivacs. I don't know if he zoomed in to click on that or what, but he's just got too much. The 4th base is up. The 5th is building behind this. Libs, +3 attack, +2 armor. About to finish. 3 Widow Mines still building at a time. These Widow Mines have not really been finding the mark, I got to say, but there's just so many of them, and it's the fact that the Marines are just spreading out and not getting hit, and there's not enough Zerglings to capitalize. There's no run-bys because Reynor has been so pushed backwards. There's no run-bys at all. He tries to build a round of Swarm Hosts there? What? I think he was like, look, I need some efficiency, and these at least can set off the Widow Mines, so he goes for a round of Locusts. But Clem takes map 1. Alright. Hello, everybody. It's game 2. Up in the top right, it's Clash's Reynor. And that was a pretty frustrating way to go in that first game, but man, those Hellions found a good amount of damage. Picking off just a Queen here, a Queen there, it adds up. Every one of those is 150 minerals, and you're like, oh, he keeps replacing them though, but then we could see that he just had less Ling Bane, less drones because of it. I love the Raven edition. Is that just going to be like a one-size-fits-all solution? Does Clem try to do this every game in this series? Or does he keep changing it up? Do we see a fierce Hellbat timing in game 2? It's Clem. The reason I think Hellbat timing is just because Reynor is basically always going very heavy Queen, which can defend Hellbat timings. However, if you can catch a Queen or 2 out front with, say, Concussive Shell Marauder, tag them, it's hard for the Queens to pull back and transfuse. Also, if you're good with the Hellions, you can pick off a few creep tumors, and if you hit at the crisp enough timing, all the Queens have spent all their transfuse energy on creep. You've killed a few, which makes them replace them, and they're all just short of 50 energy with transfuses. So a Hellbat timing can be very good. Now, it's especially good because you know Reynor is almost never going to go quick Baneling Nest when he's doing that heavy Queen opening like from the last game, unless he gets wind of something. Now, who knows? Maybe Reynor starts doing Overlord speed and that sort of thing. But if he doesn't have a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren, then that could be really powerful. As I say this, the one thing which goes against Hellbat timing on this map is Reynor almost always goes mass 1/1 Roach all in on this map in CBT. I've just remembered that. I'm like, wait a second. If I'm in Clem's shoes, I'm like, okay, how do I beat max Roaches? And the first rule for Clem would be take this 3rd base over on the right, not that 3rd base, because it's easier to defend that 1 choke point coming in, and you can kind of center your army around here if you have to, or even up here, and you can kind of defend like that area, and then it's kind of hard for them to push up this tiny choke point into your natural anyway. But we'll see. I mean, Reynor, he loves his mass 1/1 Roach all-ins, you know, similar to Rogue. Him and Rogue like to mix that in. Serral actually in the last year has started doing a lot more of those big Roach attacks as well. It's a very different thing. And the Terran needs to play very different. If they go blind into Widow Mines like in that last game, not going to do well. If they get caught out at all with their tanks on the low ground and you kill 1 or 2 siege tanks, they're just dead. If they don't pull SCVs to buffer for their army, then you're in a bad spot. Ooh, he already gets a kill. Oh my god. Oh, he almost gets a second. A drone kill is incredible to start, guys. And gets an extractor trick, denies a bit of mining. That's a fantastic start there for Clem. And Reynor is going to be playing an Overlord speed opening. However, he's playing... Wait, what the fudge is... Is Reynor doing 2 base muta, but with the 4 queen? Oh, it's a 2.5 base muta. Even with a 2.5 base muta build, he's got to drop his 3rd soon. Clem's like, whoa, what are you doing, dude? No third base? I'm very curious about this one. I think it's the 2.5 base meter. I think we'll see that lair start as soon as that queen pops out in the main. The Reaper is like, well, okay, you're droning. Oh, he tried to bounce that drone. Because once it's in midair, it can't, of course, turn into a Spore Crawler, and then he could have got that last hit, but just barely gets it down in time, does Reynor. Yeah, he's going to start the lair. So this Reaper is going to die. There's no way to escape because the queen can cut him off on that corner. And the Zerglings as well. Reaper does go down. But yeah, we see the lair starts up. Desperately needs to put on... What the fuck is this? He cancels the lair and just goes for a third. So Clem's going for a fast third CC, and then he's taking a second barrack. So he's doing like a 2-1-1 type build. Now, is Clem scared at all? I don't think so. I don't think he's scared of anything. Honestly, this looks great for Clem. His third's finishing as the third starts for Reynor. Reynor cancels the lair and then just restarts it a moment later anyway. I don't know if Reynor knows what he's doing. Now, let's keep in mind, Reynor does suboptimal builds and wins with it all the time. Reynor is a flexible mastermind. In Katowice, he constantly was forced to play styles that he wasn't good at. He had very little practice. He's like, oh yeah, I had to make Broodlords, and I was like, oh shit, how do I use Broodlords again? I haven't used these in 6 months. And he looked terrible with them in one of those games against Maru, right? But then he adjusts. He's like, I haven't played Mutas in a while either, but he fucked Maru up with Mutalisks. He played fantastic. So I'm not really liking the way Reynor's open, but okay, this works out. So he's going to play the Mass Roach style. He's going to play double Evo Roach Warren. Because he's going into the double upgrades of the Roach Warren, he needs more gas earlier for that. He's still going to be able to make use of his early droning, but he's made a big mass of Zerglings as well. So I mean, this is pretty suboptimal. This is a terrible build order. He's just so far behind. If he doesn't get like a big Ling run by or something, he's in a really rough spot. Now, he's got enough Lings out. He could maybe run by the third mineral line while defending with Queen Ling. The Queen Ling could also give the impression to Clem that it's Ling Bane when it's actually Mass Roach. But as I said, Reynor does Mass Roach every game on this map. This is an obvious pattern. And if Clem hasn't picked up on that yet, I gotta say, dude, like, do your friggin' homework. I mean, I get to watch as a caster, so obviously I actually have a better bank than the players usually of what the opponents do. But in my brain, because all I have to do is sit there and watch. I don't have to think about executing my own build order as a commentator and all the 1,000 details that go into it. But this does look like just a Ling Bane play. So unfortunately for Reynor, tanks are producing, and he's gonna scan. Just clears off that creep, pushing on forward. Roaches and 1-1 on the way. Reynor's up to 61 drones. The problem is normally you want to be a little ahead going into Roaches because it's going to be one big swarming attack to try to win the game usually. That being said, maybe Reynor is capable of playing Dark Style. So Dark Style is you make Roaches and you just try to survive and slowly work your way to Lurkers and Vipers, and you just play a super efficient style, and if you lose your fourth, it sucks, but just don't lose your army. You lose your fifth, It's all about combat efficiency. Now, if you're using Roaches, there's a rather important upgrade for combat efficiency, and that's make Roach Speed. Make Roach Speed. Please. Reynor, I don't know what this fucking build is. I would love to fucking pick your brain about this terrible build order you're doing, but Marine stims, and he still has not seen the Roaches. He's building tanks, going up to 5 barracks. Now, the important thing is, like I said, the other third. So this is the wrong third against Mass Roach. He's forgotten Roach Speed, so... Okay, Reynor is just going to go with a 1-1 all-in, but he's forgotten Roach Speed. If he kills him with slow Roaches, that's going to be hilarious. That being said... Uh-oh! Oh, Clem. Clem. Okay, one Ling gets in. The other guys come over. So if Clem attacks with Bio Tank on creep against this, it is such a bad move. I've talked about this many times over the last few years. Maru did this repeatedly against Rogue in the previous year's Katowice, where he attacked on creep into Roach Ravager. In this scenario, the Zerg has a very bad army that gets worse over time. So all you need to do is not attack into it, and you are automatically winning the game. Clem, though, known for being overly aggressive, is going to attack on creep. That being said, Reynor doesn't have Roach Speed, so he's still in a shit scenario. The Ling Round Bike gets some damage, but not a massive amount. This army is here on creep. I like that he hasn't sieged the tanks. he now finally realizes he's up against Master Roach Ravager. It's slow roaches. Unfortunately, all these buildings on the low ground. He's just got to evac that low ground and get everything back over there. He's trying to fight out there on Creep. He needs to run home. Why? Oh, Clem's trying to fight in the middle of the map, but he already loses one siege tank. His Marines stim into the Roach Ravager, but he hasn't even abandoned his third. He's just lost every single worker in his third base. Clem here, trying to fight in the middle of the map. An absolutely disastrous decision, a nonsensical decision, and I've got to be harsh on Clem for this one. This was a bad build from Reynor with a huge mistake. No roach speed, but it's almost like its complete lack of efficiency has just thrown Clem through a loop, and he's been like, what's going on? And he's gone and attacked into a terrible position. Got caught by a slow roach attack. Now, he's not completely dead yet if he can keep his tanks on the high ground, but he cannot go down to the low ground. He's got to give up that 4th command center. Reynor still has such a bad army that he could take this out, and actually that tank gets some big shots. The Marines do okay here. Clem might still be able to hang on. Queens are walking across the map to transfuse. Can he hang on? He's got 2 tanks there. One tank is going to go down. The other tank's still firing. There's just not that many Marines left. Upgrades are even on both sides. It's 1-1. That siege tank getting biled, but it's still alive and still firing. Oh my god, this is such a close fight. The command center floating back. Reynor is there with units on the front. He's making his 2-2 now. He's building a 4th base. Remember that Reynor is rather all in. Clem needs to pull back. There is no reason for him to be out here fighting right now. He needs to be pulling back to his tanks, to his extra Marines. I like the tank is far back, but yeah, he's got to be very conservative here. And I think the double lib will help him out. There's not enough Ravagers to easily take care of that. Not a very good siege. That's a bad siege against Ravagers. He needs to be sieging out in the middle ground, because there he can just be biled. It's only protecting from Lings, whereas Roaches are what he needs to worry about. A good reposition here from Clem. He's going to get out there a little bit further in the front. The Marines trying to cover that mineral line. That command center very weak. Clem desperately needs to get the mining back up there, but more importantly, he needs to preserve his tanks. So getting baited out into the open, very good for Reynor. Takes out one of the siege tanks. The Liberators are going to try and siege on top of this army. There's Queens, there's Ravagers. Can those Ravagers land a bile? Reynor's on cooldown right now. He used the biles before in the siege tanks. And the Marines coming a little bit far out. Clem, one of the best players at microing in these scrappy scenarios, but Reynor also very fast and good at handling this. And Reynor knows he's not going to kill him. Reynor knows he's done damage. He's droned behind this a little bit. He's got 71 drones. His 2-2's on the way. And Clem needs to slow things down. He should lift that base and move to the other side. So all Reynor's going to need to do is just get another big Master Roach Ravager and keep trading while the numbers are small. Keep the tank count low. Keep the Marine count low. The Libs are going to go across and try to do a bit of harassment. They actually should not commit. They should probably just pull back right now. And yeah, Clem wisely does that. Does pull back. But only 4 bases. 70 drones versus 55. This is totally fine. You've got 4 orbital command centers as Clem. But trying to hold both bases at once is a big mistake. So once Reynor starts pushing, Clem needs to be willing to just pull one of these bases away, right? I guess he is getting a bit more efficient mining out of it, but actually he's sending workers back to his main. He's trying to optimize that mining. His income's going to shoot up right now. If he can get enough tanks out, he'll be good, but he's building 3 Marauders, 4 Marines at a time. Tanks still only 1 at a time. So definitely wants to get more siege tanks, especially now as Reynor is going into Hive and Hydrogen. He's going to swap into Lurker play from here. He's not going to stay on Master Roach Ravager. He knows this composition. He was lucky to find the damage he did, having forgotten Roach speed. Misses a few of those corrosive vials. Finally does get the Liberator. It only gets a single drone. Worker count stabilizing for both sides. The problem is the infrastructure for Clem now. That big stopgap in his production. Now he starts the second factory. Where's he starting that one? Where is that second factory? There it is. Second factory going down in the natural. 2 Vipers on the way, Lurkiden, and 3 upgrades. So Clem needs to do something now before that tech comes in. By being caught unsieged, he's got to just walk away. He can always hot pick up the tanks as needed. Reynor chasing forwards, very ambitious there. Gets a medevac with the biles. The bio going to chase him down though. Can that bio overwhelm? It looks like it most certainly can. Concussive shells is in there as well. Good biles though. He says, hey, if you chase this, you're going to be eating corrosive biles. Does pull back. 18 more roaches on the way right now. And Clem going to try and do a push. He's got +3 attack, +1 vehicle weapons, a 5th command center on the way. He's building more barracks right now. So he's focusing on mass bio production because he wants to get that up. The problem is, as I said, Lurkers and Vipers not far away. And I am really a big proponent of the get 3, 4 factories up, get mass tank production going. I think it's a lot better than Ghost at that stage of the game. The bio comes forward. The Vipers, though, look out. Blinding Cloud on those front 2 tanks. All the tanks taken out of the fight. Oh, only 1 tank in the far left is firing. That Blinding Cloud will expire in just a moment. Those tanks are going to get a few more shots off but Bile's already coming down on top, and the Bio getting overwhelmed. There's not that much Roach Ravager left. I actually think Reynor could have held his ground. I think he can win that fight. He pulls back. Clem could have won that fight, sorry. Reynor doesn't actually have that much. The Ravagers look scarier than they are, and now he's going to get the punish on. He stutter steps right on top and gets a lot of these very expensive Ravagers. Does eat 1 or 2 big Biles, but he kills a lot of the Ravagers there. The units lost tab looking a little bit better for Clem, but not massively better. And remember that Reynor's had a lot more bases to mine from, in that 4th base being up a lot earlier. That being said, if Clem can get rid of this 5th base before the Lurkers are out, that'll be amazing. 2 parasitic bombs go out, a nice split. Good spready there on those tanks. Bio coming forward, though. Clem is not letting up. Lurkers trying to morph. They're not ready yet. The Bio here, 2-2 versus 2-2 upgrades. The 3-3. Even though it's ahead for Reynor, it's not done. This is a good window for Clem to do damage, to trade these units down. Can he get it? That tank does get triple Bile. It goes down. 1 more tank just before it falls. The Hydras there do not have both upgrades yet. They're very fragile units, but there's not that much Bio either. And the Lurkers come forward. I think those Lurkers will anchor this position. They should keep Clem back, but Clem runs in and gets the hatchery. Oh, a lovely play. Knocks Reynor back to 4 bases and says, yeah, you can have 82 workers, but you probably don't have that much to do with it. Oh, he gets baited and he was not watching and does lose a bunch more Bio. So Clem going to have to pull back and go to the next step. He's going to go Ghosts. Obviously, pro gamers, big fans of Ghosts in this army, and sometimes they do use it fantastically. A big parasitic bomb. Those medevacs need to go home and repair. Okay, Clem needs to get out of there. Clem's going to try and fight. He thinks Reynor's come a bit too far forward, but Reynor has a lot of Lurkers. Oh my god, it feels like both guys are trying to just headbutt into the other one, and I'm not sure who actually has the better army. Clem apparently going to get on top of these Lurkers. Is that enough, though? Has he thrown too much Bio away there? Clem maybe a little too over-aggressive, because now all of his tanks are exposed. He just lost a lot of those low hit point medevacs. They did not go home to repair. He does not want to let up the aggression. He doesn't want to let Reynor run in and start sieging his bases. No planetary fortresses. These are all orbitals. That command center hasn't upgraded. He's going to make that a planetary in the bottom right. This is why Clem wants to control the middle of the map and be pushing, but losing that army loses his foothold. He should have held his ground. He should not have ran on those Lurkers there. That was a big mistake. He now needs a moment of time to recover economically. Reynor rebuilding that base on the left. The base on the right is about to finish. Reynor's 3-3 has finished, so he's slightly ahead on upgrades, but not for too much longer, as +3 armor will kick in soon. How many Vipers are on the map? I think it's just the same 2 from earlier, plus 1 more has come out. There's 6 Lurkers out and 5 more morphing right now, so up to 11 Lurkers in a moment. And they do have both Adaptive Talons and Seismic Spine, so the permanent Stimpak upgrade as well as the +2 range. Tank Bio spread out in a giant line here. Clem realizing he's got to be prepared for those Lurkers. Siege those tanks, siege those tanks. Uh-oh, but that's a nice movement by Reynor there. Look at that, and a Blinding Cloud as well. He's got a tank in the back that is firing, but the Bio, oh, and he abducted on the tank. Nicely done. And this is what we're talking about. Once Reynor gets those tanks in Lurkers in between you, it's a lot like getting siege pushed. Look at this position that Reynor has. That's so deadly. Couple snipes go down, take out some of these units. Liberator's doing what it can, but that's a lot of SCVs in the open. And that Liberator will go down to those Hydralisks. Another Lurker on the right does get sniped from these Ghosts on the high ground, but he has to go for it. Clem needs to get rid of this position, and being forced to stim into mass Lurker like that is always a hard ask. The Bio is getting shredded. The Lurkers are going down, but not before the command center. Every single worker on the left side goes down. The Roaches and the Hydras try to come back and join up. There's still 1 Lurker left. It finally goes down, but Reynor just crushes over all of this. Mass Hydras on the way behind this. He's even adding melee upgrades. He's up to 94 workers with a fully saturated 5th base in the top left-hand side. And you can see here the income tab. Double the income right now for Reynor. A massive worker advantage and really looking great. I mean, this game was an absolute shit show in the early game from Reynor. His opening was really weird, but the fact that he caught his opponent off guard, Clem, by sneaking those Roaches across the map, did so much damage on the 3rd, and he kind of dragged this game into muddy waters. And we see once again, Reynor is one of the best players at adapting in these messy situations. Nowhere near as clean and calculated as some of the other absolute top dogs. But you put him in a chaotic situation, you give him an opening, Reynor will run away with the game. And that's exactly what he's doing here, sieging this base. Scan can go down, and 1 Lurker falls. A Snipe goes down as well, so 4 Lurkers will fall there. Yeah, a bit of a wild push there from Reynor. Does end up losing those Lurkers. You don't really want to just sit there at the edge of range like that. Clem showed us why. Takes advantage of that. I'm going to continue trying to push forward, but he doesn't have much Ghost energy left. He's got just a few tanks, very few Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts. Ghost's good versus the Zerglings, which are now coming out in higher numbers, but look at that. Abducting siege tanks, nicely done. Swapping into that Lurker-Ling style that he loves so much. Adrenal Glands is on the way. Does need to get a +2 melee, because +1 Zerglings are just not going to be that good up against +3 armor Marines, Marauders, and Ghosts. Ghosts, of course, don't have a base armor, but the Zerglings just aren't going to do that much. A lot of Zerglings getting ready for a run by. Oh, he's just going to hit the natural and win that way. So the Ghosts are coming forward on the right. Actually, is he just going to go for it? He's grouping his army up. He wants to jump on top. Reynor is just going to go for this, diving onto the army. Those Lurkers on the right, a little slow to join in. But look at the Ling count just getting on top of these siege tanks. There's not enough Ghosts and Marines to deal with this. The siege tanks are basically just struggling to kill the Zerglings, not even firing in the Lurkers, the units that they should be. And it looks like Clem's last-ditch desperate push gets shut down. Reynor swings across the map. In the midst of this, Reynor has taken one of Clem's bases on the left. And, I mean, it's always messy engaging into a planetary like that. I guess another overextension when you're on 96 drones. Is anything an overextension? I don't know. Reynor's happy to trade as much as he likes. These Liberators going to go across. Clem's going to try and do some harassment with that. It's impressive the way he keeps up the pace and just keeps doing stuff in the midst of everything. And he keeps making the fights look relatively close, even when things are absolutely horrendous for him. Zerglings come in there, get 4 of these SCVs on that base. A few Marines and Ghosts come out. They're terribly outnumbered. Liberators come in the back. Vipers are there ready to abduct, I guess. They were maybe gathering energy. Liberator's going to do at least some damage on this. Zerglings are catching some Marines and Ghosts on the left side. As I said, though, +1 melee Zerglings just not as effective as they'd like to be. Not many units over here on the right. The Lurker-Ling can just jump on top. Reynor, when he's got the power overwhelming the numbers like that, it's a bit too much. Takes out about 15 workers in the top left side of the map. That leaves Reynor still at 85. The power of 100 workers is you've got a whole bunch of buffer. You lose 10 or 15, you've still got over 80 workers. You still have a monstrous economy, and you're actually ready and willing to take damage. Ghosts walking into the Lurkers, not doing well. Ling's forcing a lift on the left side. Reynor has 1,000 times more things than Clem, and Clem is trying to basically make each Marine kill 46 Zerglings and 3 Lurkers, which is not physically possible. So hats off to Clem for hanging in here and fighting, but it looks like we're going to get a 1-1. Oh, that's nasty. +2 melee is kicked in, as have Adrenal Glands. The siege tanks even friendly fire their own units a little bit there. And lots of units coming through the middle as well. Ling Lurkers. So what's the composition? 4 Vipers, 7 Lurkers, 6 Hydras, 52 Zerglings. More Lings, more Hydras, more Lurkers on the way. The way Reynor plays this is once he gets such a big economy, yes, the units are kind of fragile, but they're very high damage and very mobile. And he's just running in and trading with you constantly. And look at this. Oh, he's queued Lurkers up to go siege behind the mineral lines. At the same time, he jumps forward, abducts a few siege tanks, and burrows on top of this base. Does he lose the base on this side of the map? Yes, but this is such a silly base. Anyway, these Lurkers shredding the mineral lines over here. And meanwhile, some Ghosts do start to land some snipes, but oh, he abducts like 3 or 4 of the Ghosts. The Ling Lurker runs forward, and finally, Reynor ties up the series. All right. Let's go straight into map number 3. It's going to be Lightshade. An action-packed map, and one where, yes, Mass Roach is good here, but I think Reynor is going to be much more comfortable going back to the Ling Bane style. Does he once again play just Mass Ling Bane? I think so. It's really the core of his style is just get those 2 squads of Queens out there, Mass Ling Bane, but he's going to be looking to not lose as many as in the first map. It's Reynor. Smashing some Red Bulls, listening to some Italian rap, and playing for Clash. In the top left, representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. I love how for like 3 weeks, I called him Clementine until people pointed me out that's a girl's name. It's just Clement. And I'm like, oh, that does make sense. I was like, oh, his name's Clem. Oh, it must be because his name's Clementine, right? That's a French name. Because like, I guess like as an English speaker, right, you're always like, oh, it's a French dude. And he's like, my name is Michel. And I'm like, that's a girl's name. You know, it gets confusing which French names are girls and boys. Because like half the French names, Jean, you know, that's a girl's name in English as well. A lot of the French boy names are girl names in English. Well, two of them that I can think of. But you know, There's probably more, right? Is there a female version of Napoleon? Napolitana? Anyways, Clem is just going to scout after the barracks. He's going to go for a very standard Reaper expand. Reynor, 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. Actually, it looks like he went pool before gas, maybe adding just a little bit of safety. Now, interestingly, his second Overlord just kind of chilled at home. He didn't really go looking for proxy barracks with that at all. So he's just, if there's proxy barracks, he would see the SCVs come in, which is, I guess, a little more reliable, but like, it's also kind of odd. Now, oh, and he's worried about Marine first. So he's actually going to pull this Overlord back because he doesn't want to lose his Overlord to Marine coming out here and killing him on that pillar. So he's just going to chill in the middle of the map. This is very Sue-esque scouting. Now, what is Sue-esque scouting? So Sue is, of course, famous Korean player, more second places than ever. Finally won that Katowice 2 years ago. Cool player. He can go 7 minutes into a Zerg versus Terran without even making a single attempt to scout. Like literally, the fact he doesn't get all in more often baffles me because he'll play 4 queens, 0 scouting. And he's like, yeah, I've got 4 queens. I'm like, that's not safe at all. People are like, yeah, we'll just let him get away. Like, he will put 2 Overlords on the map and never scout their base. And I'm like, what? So Reynor's going for that. A bit more of the map control with the Overlords. And I think Clem's pretty predictable, so this is fine. That being said, change up from Clem. He's got a second gas geyser. So we're going to see much quicker Hellion production and a quicker starport here going into that. Notice he pulls off that mule because he doesn't want it to mine 25 minerals and then die on the way back. It basically removes 25 minerals from the map without him actually getting to return it to the command center if it dies in hand. But look at this much quicker Hellion production coming out with no super quick third command center. Usually people are going Banshee off this, but I'd actually like to just see Viking and... Ooh. Oh, we're going to see a medevac if he builds another Marine here. Okay, he's going... Yeah, I think we're going to see just a basic Hellbat timing, guys. So we're going to see a really quick one. Now, this is the sort of timing where he might not have a wall up in time because this is going to hit like right around 4:30 probably. So if Reynor realizes what's up and does a Ling run by while getting hit by this, he might just kill him. Armory goes down, medevac on the way. It's going to be 3 Marines. Does he squeeze a 4th Marine in here? I don't think he has the minerals. I think Hellions are much more important, and you can see he's a little mineral starved right now. He's not cutting SCVs for this. So this is the economic version. This is not a Diego Hellbat rush. For those who don't know, Kellerzur famous for basically doing every version of like, oh yeah, it looks like a Hellbat timing. And you're like, wait, how does he have so much shit so early? And you're like, oh, he skipped 5 SCVs in his build. You're like, you dirty bastard. But Clem, of course, is a bit more of a macro boy. He's not going to take that risk. Now, he's left a Marine at home. Oh no. What? He only brought 2 Marines. Oh, a little bit of a messed up build order. The Zergling run by I was talking about, the Ling run by. This is a very small Ling run by. But look at that. Great micro. He's wasting a lot of mining time. Reynor with some great control. His queens do not want to get caught out. I think he already killed a Hellion though. No, he did not. Oh, the Marines dropping right on top of him. Oh, he's got to be careful. Those Marines go down. He already lost both Marines. That is a big problem. 1 queen does fall, loses 3 SCVs at home. Finally, he deals with that, but this is the problem. The fast Hellbat timing, it hits hard, it hits sharp, but distracted, delayed by the Zerglings. Now he's killed 1 queen. The Zerglings can't really do anything on his own. Ooh! Oh, he didn't quite get the medevac out of range. It was a good pullback, but it wasn't enough. Now that's too many queens, so he's going to pull back now. A wise decision from Clem. Gets a drone. He's just going to walk away. He turns around, tries to get those drones because they were going back to mining a little too early, but he's taking a lot of damage on the retreat here is Clem. And so once again, looks like a very good start for Reynor, who does end up holding. And now this is, I mean, it's a great build, the fast Hellbat timing, but I do think there's something to be said for cutting just 1 or 2 SCVs, maybe 3 SCVs when you do this build, because he could have had 2 more Hellions out, and I do think 2 more Hellions driving in may have made a difference. It's also just the problem where if they're really good at microing those Zerglings, like if Reynor didn't micro that, you A-move the SCVs, they go back to mine. But he microed the Zerglings around multiple times, kept disengaging and not letting the SCVs clean it up, kept some Hellions at home longer. Really fantastic control out of Reynor, showing that multitasking pedigree, and he holds with nothing but queens and Zerglings. I mean, this is meant to be a little vulnerable to Hellbat attacks, but Reynor just is so good at handling it. He only lost 1 queen, 2 drones, 23 Zerglings, by the way, so fantastic trade. Because it's not just cost for cost, it's investment. It's look at that 3rd command center. This didn't start till after 5 minutes. Whereas this should start currently in the meta, like 2 minutes 30 is when that command center often starts. If you're doing a more old school build with faster starport, 4 minutes 10. 4 minutes 20 latest. Start after 5 minutes, that's super late. So the problem is REYNOR'S got 3 bases filled with workers, so Clem needs to do more. Like, this is not enough. He comes in, he gets some Zerglings, but oh, he needs more than that. Oh, the Evo Chamber blocks. REYNOR'S just too quick with those, man. And his queens split up, so even if you get past one squad of queens, the other squad always comes in. Banshee's coming in. They've got Cloak, but the queens, look at the queen spready, man. That being said, Hellions say, hey, there's not enough over here. They go in there. Banshees don't find anything just yet, though. And once again, I mean, he's threatening REYNOR', but look at REYNOR'S creep. It's out there. It's doing good. What are you going to do? Damage a hatchery? That's not going to change anything. The Overseer should be coming up there now. Indeed, it is. The Banshees have to back off. And he's trying to play a catch-up is Clem. He's not out of this game because he's preserving his units. Most importantly, he's not throwing them away. We always say he needs to do damage here, right? Well, what's even worse than not doing damage is a lot of players go, oh, I need to do damage, and they throw their units away for very little. So, I mean, it's better off to just preserve those units and see if you can get value out of them later if your opponent's defending correctly. So this is correct play from Clem. Sometimes we see it as a little bit of a zero-sum game. It's like, well, you need to do damage or you're behind. Therefore, let's throw our units away for nothing and be not just behind, but also dead. We kind of get a little bit simplistic with our understanding. It's like, you see a player of Clem's caliber, he's very reflexive. He identifies very quickly, I can't do damage here, pull back. Just kill a tumor, pull back. Look for this, pull back. He's going to come through the middle now. I wouldn't mind him ferrying that tank up there. I think put the tank on the high ground. He could try to put it here behind this grass, but he doesn't want to go too far forward or that tank's going to be mighty exposed. 30 Zerglings, 9 Banelings, 13 more Banelings on the way. He does ferry the tank to the high ground there. Queenslings, Banes coming in from every single side. And you got to pick those Marines up and get the hell out of dodge. A wise decision by Clem. Gets a few tank shots off, just loses the Hellions. Could have been worse. He's trying to at least disrupt REYNOR' here and be as annoying as he can. Going up to 7, 8 barracks here. 2-2 does start up for Clem as well. They are about 15, 20 seconds behind REYNOR'S 2-2 upgrades. The scan does clear some of the tumors, but there's still a tumor on the south side. And look at this flank set up very nicely by REYNOR'. Needs to split some lings onto that siege tank. But REYNOR' going for a bit of a lazy A move there. It looks like he was macroing in the middle of that. Does take an extra tank shot or two. Doesn't really matter though, because his fourth, oh my god. He's taking 4 base gas. A Zerg should not have the freedom to do that this early. His creep is everywhere. He's got a big pack of Ling Bane. He's got Bane speed. He feels so safe that he can do that. And that's a problem because he's already building mutas and he's going to keep on building mutas non-stop. Flyer attacks is on the way. Ling Bane is already off creep. He feels brave enough to kind of scare Clem from even moving forwards. As a Zerg, man, this means you got map control. It means you get to do everything on your timer. Clem can't really pressure him right now, so REYNOR'S just spreading creep. He's taking a 5th in the north of the map. He's massing Banelings, he's massing mutas. And the thing is, there's no easy retreats anymore. Now that mutas are out on the map, a unit which Clem does not realize is even there just yet. He's in big trouble. Oh, REYNOR' goes in. Just picks off a few Marines on the front, then pulls back. It's a staggered push from Clem. He's really well spaced. Looks like REYNOR' says, that's fine, clear some creep with this. I'm just going to counterattack. The mutas come in. Uh-oh, he's got to watch out for that rally. Goes for the 3rd base. Nice move by REYNOR'. Marines trying to stim forward here, burping into the microphone like a boss am I, because I'm excited watching these absolute beasts go at it. 6 SCVs, 7 SCVs go down. He's going to bounce into the main base. Turrets only now going down. REYNOR' not known as much for his Mutalisk play, but I love that he mixes it up. It makes him a much more difficult opponent to play against. And the Muta really is one of those units where it's like, oh, he's not known for it in the last 6 months of play, but he's still so good at it. I mean, it's one of his spirit animals. As a counterattack, fast, Zergling boy. I mean, Mutas just match REYNOR' at the core of his playstyle. Unfortunately, though, maybe not quite as practiced with that. He knew the army was here, and he goes right through it. A bit lazy with that Muta rotate, loses 4 of them. Still got a massive ground army, though. Clem's trying to bait him into this tank spread, but there's actually just not that much terror in here. He's bringing more units forward now. He's created a big dent in the creep here, an area where it's going to be harder for REYNOR' to take efficient fights. He's moving those tanks forward. REYNOR', though, 90 Zerglings, 25 Banelings with 14 more morphing, and he's setting up the sandwich. REYNOR'S just going to keep on shaving off the front of the army, pulling back. Does he go for the counterattack or the sandwich? What sort does he go for? His queen's getting baited into the tank a little bit. He's going to go for the big run by. But Clem, oh, pull the SCVs. His SCV is a little slow to run there. He sieges the libs. The bio looks good. Oh, there's still a lot of banelings, though. There's still a lot of banelings. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is one of those moments you're like, oh, yeah, we can hold this. And you're like, wait, there's actually so much Ling Bane in that run by. But I think it's an okay trade in the end for Clem. Just keep in mind, he's barely on his 4th base, whereas REYNOR'S a bit healthier. REYNOR'S starting to take some sloppier fights here. I mean, REYNOR is actually starting to get in a little bit of trouble in terms of this efficiency as it starts to sack up for Clem. Equal upgrades on both sides. The Marauders are starting to get added in here as well. A lot of Ling Bane coming forwards. If he can clear these tanks, it's going to be a huge move. 1, 2, 3 tanks fall almost instantly. There's still 2 tanks left, but oh, the way Clem stands his ground in the face of like 20 banelings, he just understands intuitively how much damage those Marines have. He's so good at judging those fights. The Banshees do start to now fall. There's only 3 tanks left. Remember, this is a massively committed push. Clem does not have Widowmine production. He does not have a second factory. It's all about the bio count and creating good fights here and now. The longer this goes, the worse the situation for Clem because he's not progressing his production. Without a second factory with a reactor, he can't swap into Widowmines, the efficiency unit. He's only on siege tanks, so he needs to keep fighting and keep taking good angles, and he's going to actually get REYNOR to pull back off this base. A spectacular maneuver. But the Muters now going for the run by. How many Muters we got out? 15 Mutalisks. Can they find the damage? No turret! The turret never got rebuilt there. Oh, that is a big problem. The Muters fly in. The Liberator goes down. Marines do stim down there, but he's going to go in towards the production. The Muters should be able to take out some of those reactors. That turret in the main never finished as well. Oh, it's been such an action-packed game. A medium-sized Muter run by really should not be that much of an issue, and yet it's doing a lot. REYNOR does lose 2 bases in the top of the map, but he's still on 4 bases, and the Muters doing counter damage means this is not the end of the world. He's got an Ultra Cavern on the way. His Hive is finished, so this is not REYNOR stuck on Mutiling Bane forever. He will be able to get Ultras out, and especially with Chitinous Plating, that will help make up for the fact that there's going to be a double upgrade advantage for Clem. Muters will fly out of the base now, disengaging. That tank on the high ground. Look at this tank spready from Clem. Banelings being forced to roll in, and even though they get a few Marines, they also get in trouble. Mass SCV repair! That turret says, get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit. The little man in the turret just firing. Boom, 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 boom. But the Muters do take him down in the end. The Marines come down, though. A lot of Muters fall. 18 SCVs have fall. Clem, the psychopath, is pushing on the front at the same time. I didn't really see where all the Marines went. It looks like there's still a lot of Ling Bane left. I think he may have accidentally ran a big clump of bio in while he was dealing with that Muter pressure. He's got a lot more bio now coming across the map, but his tanks are very exposed right now. The fact that Clem is still brave enough to push forward is absolute insanity. He's got like 8 Marines. It's just undefended tanks at this point, and that will cost him. Oh, all those tanks are going to go down. This is very expensive. The Muters go back in the main and find even more damage. Ling's cleaning up all of those siege tanks. The anchor of the push is gone. This one tank on the high ground is on 21 kills. Make that 24. Make that 28, killing 4, 5 Zerglings per shot. Is that enough, though? No, because the Muters are there, smashing everything behind it. The Ultras overwhelm the push on the front, and REYNOR takes a 2-1 advantage. All right. Let's go into map number 4. He only needs 1 more to finish it off. And this is actually super exciting because I haven't seen many games on this map at a high level. In the bottom left, it is REYNOR. And in the bottom right of Blackburn, it is Team Liquid's Clem. Now, this is Blackburn. There is a gold base up here and over here, but very easy for Hellions or Roaches or anything to run up behind and kill workers on there. It's very hard to defend. The only way I've managed to use this gold base in Zerg vs Terran is doing a like Ravager Ling all in into just upgraded mass Zergling Ravager all in round 2. It's where you take it as like, you know, your second or I took it as my 3rd base. And then I went up to like 5 hatchery, 45 drone, mass 1-1 Zerglings with like 8 or 9 Ravagers. It's one of the most gimmicky all-ins you can do against Terran. The whole idea is you've got to like basically just keep surrounding their units and kill them in low numbers. And you just have so many Zerglings and you just drop biles on tanks and stuff that you can do big damage. So why is something that wild and silly something you can do with it? Because you're attacking non-stop, so you don't have to defend. And that's kind of the trick. If you take these gold bases on this map, you kind of need to just attack the whole time. Because if you let them tread water in the game, they're going to find a chance to walk a few Hellions in and kill your whole drone line. it's not going to work out. So I expect both players to steer away from it initially, but Clem probably look for that as a 4th base potentially. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of far out there. So Clem might just take a 3rd here and just push straight through the middle and then even take a 4th here, because then you've got a very defensible ramp on your natural. 3rd base on your push path, 4th base almost on your push path as well. The other feature that we want to pay attention to is the fact that there is a jumping point. Now, it's actually faster to get across the map if you go down the ramp, is what I've been told. I haven't tested it, but Clem just rallying straight across the map, and it looks like he's going to jump up through the slow zone into the back of the base and look for a drone kill or 2 there. So, I mean, you could argue it's a more surprising angle, and there's more drones in the main to pick from, whereas there's less in the natural. So that Reaper is going to go on into that main base. Let's see what he can get. The Zerglings were waiting. Reynor, of course, well-versed in this map. 1 or 2 weeks into the practice of the new map pool. Reaper seeing what it can get. No 3rd command center for Clem just yet. As I say that, though, he does not have a 2nd gas, so he will be dropping one in just a moment. Nice kill there. Does get 1 Zergling with the Reaper. Queen does pop out. 3rd Queen starts up immediately, and a 4th Queen. So it's going to be a 2.5 base Muta build or a Mass Roach build once again. One or the other. Only 1 worker on gas this time. So this looks similar to the Roach build on Oxide, which, remember, I called a terrible build order, and I don't take it back. I stand by my opinion. It was awful. If he remembers Roach speed, it's not as bad, but I still think he should be looking for a quicker 3rd base. And if he's not, he's got to make less Zerglings. I think one of the problems Reynor had on Oxide is I think he thought Clem might have been doing a traditional 2-1-1 rather than a 3 command center 2-1-1. And actually, it's the exact same build from Clem on Oxide. So what happened is Reynor built like 25, 30 Zerglings really early, well before any pressure actually started hitting. And he didn't really need all those Zerglings. And it just meant that he didn't even finish saturating 2 bases of workers before spending a lot of lava on that, which was a bit of a bummer. Now, 4 Queens means great early creep spread. Yes, the 3rd's kind of late, but he's got to take gases, go lair, and double Evo chamber anyway. 2nd gas goes down. I think this might be a Muta build. Yeah, this is looking like 2-bit. This is looking like 2.5 base Muta to me, more than Roaches, because I feel like he would be taking. Yep. Baneley Nest goes down. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be Lingbane Muta. Awesome. Okay, so Reynor's looking for the fast Muta play most likely here. Clem going for a very traditional fast 3rd command center, but notice, where's the Hellions at? It's 2 Hellions into swapping the factory off and using it as an add-on building structure. So we've got 2 Barracks pumping Marines, Stim on the way, Starport will swap over, build 2 Medevacs, 3 CC, double Medevac Marine pressure going to come out, and he's only got 2 Reapers and a Hellions, so it's the lightest of Creep Tumor sniping squads, and he actually comes and gets 2 of those. That means less transfuse, slows down the creep spread a little. Every time you do that, it's a great maneuver. So looking like a good start for Clem so far. And Mutas does shut down the drops pretty hard, but let's see when that spy. He actually goes Baneling speed. Wait. No. There's no reason to get a lair this early just for Baneling speed. That's ridiculous. You have to put a Spire down, or this build has no purpose, Reynor. So the reason why Massling Bane on this is a terrible build order is because Massling Bane is very lava intensive, it's very mineral intensive. The only way you can make that a good build that scales well against Terran is you need to get your 3rd mineral line up as quickly as possible. This is what all Legacy of the Void, modern Zerg vs Terran Bane play is about. All I can imagine is he's going to do an all-in. He's going to do a 2 base all-in. He's cancelled his Evo. He's literally doing a speed Baneling all-in. Reynor, you cheeky bugger. Oh my god, he's going to go for a speed Bane all-in. Dude, I haven't done one of these since Heart of the Swarm. Oh my god, I haven't seen one of these in forever. Big Linground by gets in. The Marines aren't too far away though, and the SCVs can always mineral walk. Oh, looks like one of the casters dropped out of the game alive. But look at that, the SCVs pull away, and his Lings get trapped. So the thing is, he can't replace these Lings very well. So I don't like this move at all from Reynor. To me, this feels really haphazard. I mean, part of why I'm so excited for this is because I want to see what Reynor brings after Katowice. I know he took a little bit of a break, and this is the first tournament that he's kind of back in the full swing of things and finding himself already in the finals. I mean, he's the world champ, you expect it. But what the fuck is he doing right now? He's pulled off gas. Is he baneling? Okay, he's made, because he's already mined too much gas. So he is going for a speed bane all in. He's going to try and defend the front with Queenling, and he's going to counterattack with speed banes. Okay, he is going to go for it. Those are just, okay, all right, here we go. He's got to defend at home, though. He doesn't have many banelings yet. The Queen's trying to run out of there. Clem is a decisive boy. He's not going to give you a moment. Reynor was not expecting him to dive in there that hard. And Reynor's going to go for it. The banelings, the zerglings coming in. These marines are on top of the baneling nest, and that baneling nest will go down. The banelings bust the wall. He gets on in there, but he uses quite a few banelings just to blow up like 3 or 4 marines there. Oh, banelings blowing up on just a few SCVs, not being microed because he's busy at home. Now the Lings are going to get the siege tank. The tank does get 1 or 2 shots off on the banelings. The bio spreading, though. Is that enough bio? I don't... Oh, man, the spreads. The spready. Clem. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a StarCraft pro, not an Olympian. Bloody gymnastics shit. He just did a fucking splits times 17. He literally did the splits to the point where his legs go out through. They flip upwards on his head. They rotate to the other side, and he starts doing spinning circles with his legs. It's like a 360 splits, 400-degree fucking rip the muscles in your fucking legs and your groin. Holy shit. Reynor just got dicked. What a weird game. A speed bane all in? That was a bizarre choice from Reynor. I can absolutely see how it would work, but Clem just zero fear, just thrust into his natural, and you could see Reynor wasn't ready for it, number one, but also I think Reynor overdroned just a little bit, obviously overmined gas, and just was a bit too slow to get his own baneling attack going. The 20 Zergling run by, I think, was a crucial and terrible mistake from Reynor. Doing that when Clem was mostly just chilling at home, it didn't make any sense. That first 20 Ling run by, I think, was a disastrous move for Reynor. Let's go to game 5. All right. Game number 5 is going to be on Romanticide. And what a romantic match it is. A young Italian Zerg filled with passion, love, hope, and a shitload of Zerglings and Banelings. It's Reynor. Bringing out a really creative build in that last game, but I think he made it up on the fly. And that's the impression I get in this whole series. A lot of making things up on the fly. His opponent getting let back into the series, I think, by that. Being a little bit more standard in his openings so far. Steam Liquid's Clem. Of course, the Hellbat attack did not work out for him on Lightshade, so it's good that Clem mixes those attacks in. You have to keep the Zerg on their toes, but it's a bummer for him momentum-wise that Clem hasn't had a Proxy Barracks do big damage or a Hellbat timing. Something that could put a little bit of fear and discomfort in Reynor. Whereas it feels like the first, 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game, Reynor's pretty comfortable. He's not really falling behind in those stages. He's just chilling. And just not having to feel too stressed at all. So it is a hatch gas pool here for Reynor. Looking at his Overlord scouting paths. Looks like his first Overlord, I think he accidentally stopped it. Because it should be further out than this by this point, I believe. Second Overlord's going down there, kind of looking for any proxy barracks coming in from that side. Barracks gas, standard opening, scouts with the Barracks SCV. 19th SCV goes to the low ground to build the command center. Reaper and Orbital startup. And that 20cc on 1 minute 39. Super standard. Super. I wouldn't mind more Mutiling Bane play from Reynor, honestly. I think Mutiling Bane's really good here on Romanticide. You've got so much dead space around the edges to fly into these bases. It's a rather large map, but you do have to really worry about this middle area. I think this is always the scariest part of Romanticide is tear down these rocks and then these rocks as quickly as possible, because you add sight blockers, which confuse the AI of your melee units when they're A-moving. Your Ling Bane gets confused if you don't manually control them all. But also tanks can set up just behind here and shoot so far over these rocks, creating these nice little areas, these nice little loop-de-doops and areas. It's a big problem. Reactor on the way there for Clem after that Marine Reaper comes in. Can he get that drone tax? He got it once or twice earlier in this series. Does force a Spore Crawler trick, which is very good. Damaging Zerglings, not finding any kills just yet. Reynor's micro is very good. Pulls back that low hit point one. Queen is now out. The Zerglings can disengage the Spore. Very patient on the cancel of that. And oh, he just injected. Was he doing this always with the 4? Oh, because he's doing the 4 Queen opening again. Okay. So with the 4 Queen build, because you're not dropping a third base, you need more lava. So you need to get those double injects going. Slows down your initial creep spread, but fair enough. Ooh, he gets in the main. There's nothing in there. Sees 2 workers on gas. those Zerglings there. And once again, REYNOR'S doing his cheeky weird opening. So I think that last game gave us a bit of insight into why it's powerful. It looks like a 2.5 base muta build. I keep saying that, right? But he's not going 2.5 base mutas. He could, though, go very quick mutas off that. Amazing at shutting down BC openings, that sort of stuff especially. But even Hellion Banshee, it's really quite good against if they go quick cloaked Banshees. Can also go Mass Roach like he did on Oxide, or he can do a crazy Baneling all-in like he did in the last game. Now, unfortunately for REYNOR, so far the Roach attack, it worked, but it shouldn't have. He really screwed it up. He forgot Roach speed, and Clem just made a terrible move in scouting Roaches and attacking into it. The Baneling attack did not work out. He didn't quite set up for it just right, and I think the brutality of Clem's counterattack was too good, and REYNOR didn't quite micro his Banelings as well as he should have. REYNOR probably should have busted the wall and split his Lings into both Mineral Ions, but he was just a bit too short on the Zerglings to capitalize on the position he got himself in. So for me, the problem with this opening for REYNOR is he hasn't really been using it very well. Like, he takes this third, but it's a 3-minute 40 third base. It's very late. Lair's done. He's got the Baneling Nest. It looks like the same setup as the last game, but I would imagine surely you go the Spire this time. Please don't not. Please drop a Spire. He's hitting 200 gas in just a moment. It's up on 4, and there we go. Yeah. Okay, so it's a much more classic build. This, of course, was super popular. Why? Remember when everyone was opening Battlecruiser into Mech, Battlecruiser, Hellion into Bio? Basically, when Mech was really popular, it was this build order in Korea which shut it down. I don't know if it was Solar or Sue or someone, whoever it was who came up with this 2.5 base muta build. It was every Zerg standard in the Korean meta for a few weeks, a month, and that is when we saw Mech die. That is when Mech died. Mech just left the meta at that point, because every game, the Terran's like, I'm doing all right, cool, and then bam, mutas shut down all the early units. The Terran's stuck on 3 bases just building turrets, and the Zerg would always just do a big Ling Bane flood and try to come, and they'd wipe the workers and just get way ahead. Nice. Overlord poos in the middle to get a nice head start on the creep spread. I love that little maneuver there. But here come the Marines. It's a big Marine Hellbat timing, guys. He's only on 45 SCVs. He does have a 3rd command center landed. 6 Hellbats, a Reaper, 15 Marines with Stim, and a single medevac. REYNOR morphing Banelings right now. I think he realizes something's coming. He's got that creep out there. The Overlord's trying to do the slowest getaway of all time. Sorry, babe. I got bad news for you. But you're going to go down. The Hellbats go a bit far ahead. The Marines a little slow here. 1 Hellbat already falls. Good focus fire. Banelings are out. Banelings are out. Clem's got to be careful. He cannot let those Banelings find the juicy center. Keep in mind, Clem is only down 5 workers right now. Great focus fire, but there's more Banelings on the top. They do get stuck behind the Queens. The Hellbats are pulling back for now. The Marines, though. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, he saves them. He saves the Marines, though. He saves the Marines. Okay, I thought he was going to lose every Marine there. That Reaper grenade that just kind of popped them all out. I was like, oh, you're all dead. But he manages to save some of those Marines at least. End of the trade. Obviously, I think that's totally in REYNOR'S favor. Even though he lost a few more resources, he shuts it down. He keeps spreading creep. The problem, of course, is that his mutas aren't out yet, so he can't completely push this back. He doesn't have a 4th base. He doesn't have Evo chambers. Meanwhile, 1-1 is 20 seconds in. 4th and 5th barracks on the way. 3 barracks have already been pumping for a while. The medevacs should now be producing 2 at a time, or at least they will be as he gets a little bit more money. And he's sending a Hellion drop down the top of the map. Now, this ain't Marine drop. If that can get out of there, that would be great. There's only 4 mutas here, so I think REYNOR showed his mutas a little too early. I think you always want to stack those mutas up and really try to, the first time you show them, kill their pressure on the map. So REYNOR a little bit too eager to show that. Stack them up, kill the pressure on the map, or dive a Mineral Line. Now he's given him time to get the turrets up as well. So REYNOR pulling the trigger on the Mutalisks and showing his hand just a tad too early there. He's going to take a 4th base over there. He's spreading creep through the middle quite well. This creep on the top is lagging a little. 1-1 starts. We're looking at a 1-minute advantage on the upgrades for Clem. Clem is swapping into double Widowmine production. In fact, he was always heading in that direction. Muta's going to come down. These depots are very exposed. That's a nice pickoff. Does get a Marine there. Ooh, if he gets those SCVs, free units. Yeah, that's really annoying for Clem. Clem might build a bunker over here later to cover this. We'll see. Might just leave some Marines. Ooh, Muta does go down. Not bad. 2nd factory is on the way right now over at the 3rd base. No 4th command center just yet, but I think that's next on the menu. Against Mutiling Bane, you just want to scale things up. Mutiling Bane does not do well versus Marine, Marauder, Mine, and Thor. Once you get close to max supply, Basically, Clem just wants to get 4 bases up. He starts that 4th now, and he wants to push both sides of the map with a split of Biomine Thor and drag the Zerg into terribly cost-inefficient trades. Now, he's already going to start pushing, and he's got a pretty good army, but that's also a good Bane link out. So I think Clem should not go too deep on creep. I think he should just hang out, see if he can exert some pressure, find a good trade or two. Oh, the Widow Mines! Okay, no, that's okay. Good pullback by Reynor. The Mutas are going to counterattack. This is 14 Mutas right now. They're going to dive across, but he's already pulled off gases on that natural Clem here, not giving many openings. A few of these Marines do get picked off, but the Widow Mines will burrow. More Marines will stim back. Got to be careful to not get these Mutas caught. Reynor snipering his little heart out, picking off a Marine, picking off another one, but he's losing 2 Mutas there and gets hit by a Widow Mine. 3rd Muta goes down. This is not good trades for Reynor. As annoying as he's being, and he does force Clem home, he's just lost a lot of Mutas. 7 Mutas have gone down already in this game. He's thinking about attacking the front because he saw those Marines pull back, so he says, cool, let's get rid of the push on the front, but there's still 2 Widow Mines. He's got to watch out for those. Ooh, okay, not too bad, but the Marines rejoin. I don't know if he's got the numbers to follow through on this. Yeah, a good disengage from Reynor. 79 workers to 68, so he's got his worker count up. But this area through the middle, even though he took the rocks down, we're just seeing the power of a parade push from Terran. Fortunately for Reynor, no 2-2 starting for Clem. But Clem just wants to keep trading. He feels like there's not enough Zerglings and Mutas out, especially with those 7 Mutas that died. He's just going to push forward through this. He's just spreading through on creep. Are you kidding me? He's just going right in there. The bravery to go this deep on creep. And Reynor just doesn't have enough Banelings. He doesn't have enough Mutiling Bane. He's equal on upgrades, but the numbers are there. The medevacs are all very low on energy, but they're still healing. They're still healing. Every little bit of energy they get, they're doing that. This 4th base is in trouble. Reynor's going to have to transfer his workers to the south, but he needs to control this space. He needs to get rid of this army. He picks off another Widow Mine, but the parade is so powerful. The Widow Mines build so quickly, and they just keep coming in there. The Banelings and the Lings are going to come forward. That 4th base survives in the red for the moment, but there's still Marauders on the left. That base may fall with just a tiny bit of target fire. Some of these units get out. Reynor holds on for now, barely hangs onto the base. He loses a lot of Mutas in the process, though, and the parade is still here. He needs a run by. He needs to hit the reinforce or something. Clem, when he's allowed to rally through the middle like this, look at what he does. He dictates where and when the fights happen. He takes a 4th behind it. Finally, he starts up his 2-2 as well. Only +2 carapace started here for Reynor. Reynor is back up against the fence, and we're seeing that with this 2.5 base muta build, you don't have as much minerals and as much lava to spare. It's all about using those mutas for massive gains, and they just haven't found it. He's lost too many mutas. 10 mutas have gone down in this game, and because of that, his efficiency is just not there. He's down 4,000 in the resources lost. He did not find damage with the muta counterattack, and Clem has just been able to force these fights in this area over and over, constantly stutter stepping, constantly spreading out with those bio, focusing down Banelings, focusing down mutas. His mines haven't found massive hits, but his Marines have found massive efficiency, and there's always more mines where that came from. The Marauders coming in as well. He just needs another round of Banelings, does Reynor, or to get rid of this, but those Marines did not get hit by the Banelings. Those Marauders had concussive. You could see they slowed down 2 of the Banelings with the concussive. The other Banelings kind of got stuck behind them. The Marines and the mines focused them down. The Muta's trying to jump on top. He tries to drag the mines on top of the Marines, but it's not enough, and Clem just overwhelms in Game 5 and takes the series 3-2. Hot damn! Hot damn. That was a good series. GG, well played.